Hey, welcome and greetings, everyone. It is GleeCon, and I'm back again, bringing you another episode of Lore of Warcraft. Happy to be here. On our last episode, we continued a run through the World of Warcraft Classic Zone of Ashenvale as an alliance, as a Night Elf Druid. We're getting close to the end of that zone, I would say, because I think it was like our seventh one, plus we've done Black Fathom Deeps. So she's really been doing it for a little bit of time now. So in that episode, we did just a couple quests. It was maybe 2-3 quests, and that took up most of the time. Running around, continuing to work on the staff, continuing to get ready for the Tower of Alphalax, that little quest line that started way back in Darkshore. We've also been reading for a couple of episodes now the World of Warcraft Official Magazine, a very rare find. I just went out for a long time before I prepped this, trying to make this into a PDF, and I realized it's such a big file that I'm going to have to piecemeal chunk it. So I don't have any plans of doing that. Again, I might do it on request or at a future date if I had... like as a premium benefit for some subscribers, I could make this available as a PDF copy, but I could also make it available as a share. I could give a share link out, a view-only share link, if necessary. But those are things that probably not going to do super soon, but just a possibility out there. But we read an interview last time with Mike Morhaime, who is the co-founder of Blizzard, and at that time was president of Blizzard. It was a pretty interesting interview. All right, so stay a while and listen as we continue reading this magazine. I've actually been enjoying it so far. This is one of 5 of this limited edition run. It wasn't supposed to be limited edition, but that's just how it ended up. So this little article is called Animal Magnetism, and it's a community article. You can see, well, I see a hunter, but it looks like they've got that Space Murloc. You have a troll petting a gopher. So basically they're with pets. I don't know who this Furbolg is with, or if that's supposed to be tiny. You got Polar Bear, Blood Elf, little goblin with wings. Remember, the context is that we're in the pre-lead up. At this point, well, this is still the winter. We're about a year out from Cataclysm dropping. Got parrots, owls, cats, little penguin. That's a little wrath pet. And it's an all about pets chapter. Again, you have this, I think that comes from the orphan thing. Little egg bird or whatever. Little croc. I think that's one of the orphan pets too. Here's a Halloween pet. Here's another orphan that you can get. A crab. This guy's just like, look at this. Companion pets. They're adorable accessories for players of all types. We hunted down some of Azeroth's most enthusiastic collectors to ask why pets are so popular, and to find out where to find some of the game's most interesting companions, great and small. Well, they used to be so popular because they were super rare. Look at this guy laying with this snake. Little dragon pets. Robo squirrel. Here's another parrot. Another dragon. That's a cool one. And a little elephant. Again, I think that's one of the orphan pets. And they went all in with it in the following expansion with Mists of Pandaria, where they introduced the pet fighting. But it's really an afterthought now. There's not a ton of... they include it, but it's just cut and paste from previous couple expansions. Brian Brolin, the head zoologist at warcraftpets.com. I wonder if that's a site. There is... Actually, I don't think it's called warcraftpets.com, but there's a really good site that I use whenever I'm trying to get pet achievements. Talks about awkward autographs, his unique in-game immortality, and the luckiest day of fishing ever. Look at that little fey dragon, too. You know you've got the bug if you're collecting something in World of Warcraft, be it unique gear, mounts, or achievements, says Brian Brolin, a 33-year-old marketing director for a chemical company. But the most rewarding in-game collectible for me is companion pets. No kidding. Brolin and his Scarlet Crusade US alter ego Brienne are the hosts of WarcraftPets.com, the web's premier site for all creatures, rare and small. If you've seen one of the World of Warcraft's more than 140 non-combat pets trailing behind a player in a capital city, you can bet that creature is on the site, along with info on its rarity, how you can get it, and some pet-by-pet commentary by Brienne herself. Think of it as a database of portable joy. In my opinion, the fact that someone even takes the time to summon a traveling companion says I'm all about fun, says Brian. They're the epitome of World of Warcraft's light and whimsical side. Yeah, I see that. Brian doesn't play favorites. How could he, with 119 different creatures ready to waddle behind him at any given time, but chooses to rotate his bestiary with an add-on called Nug Mini Pet, available for download at the site, along with several other useful pet collector tools. I wonder if this is before, like, Warcraft Forge or whatever. Curse Forge was a thing. Sometimes I'll manually break out my newest pet, he admits. It makes me smile to see the newbie in tow, especially if I had to go through a lot of work to get it. And when pressed, Berlin will admit to a soft spot for Murky, the extra rare pet given out at BlizzCon 2005. Not only is he my rarest pet, but he's absolutely adorable to boot. Yeah, I wish I had him, he says. Unless I'm in the middle of a tense fight, I'll always stop to applaud him whenever he breaks into his little Michigan J Frog dance. I wonder how hard it would be to go to BlizzCon for me, logistically. It'd be cool just to get the exclusive stuff. While he's still chasing the Phoenix hatchling and rounding up more baby crocolisks, Brolin has been rewarded for his diligence with some of the craziest good fortune a pet collector could hope for. Traditionally, the magical crawdad is one of the most challenging pets to collect, he explains. It requires a high fishing skill and a great deal of luck. I was extremely lucky when I caught mine. For starters, I managed to catch the 1 in 500 drop rate Mr. Pinchy within my first few casts. I immediately made my first wish, but a minute later the world server went down. When I logged back on, Mr. Pinchy reset himself, restoring all 3 wishes. So I made my first wish and got my crawdad. Talk about dumb luck. But Brian's biggest reward came directly from his hard work on WarcraftPets.com, which started as a humble text file pet guide back in 2006. Last year, his pink-clad gnome Brianni, this must be this girl right here, became an in-game pet vendor and a permanent resident of Dalaran's bustling neighborhood. That's cool. And to Brolin, immortality was a complete surprise. A screenshot turned up from the first day of the Wrath of the Lich King beta in July 2008, he remembers. Within minutes of that image going public, I began receiving messages about it, and when I saw it myself, I was absolutely floored. I'm still very appreciative that the Blizzard developers thought to honor my contributions in such an incredible way. Yeah, I should really make my main and, like, tie it into the game and take my little Twinkle and put him out there. The fact that someone even takes the time to summon, yeah, says traveling companion says a lot about him. So there's her beating her chest like her little baby gorilla, her talking to her in-game avatar with the deer, and her with the little cat, her talking to a baby emu. Brianni's best beasts from the gnome, tips from the gnome herself, the baby crocolisk, she's got 3 of them. Everyone should have at least 1 baby croc, says Brianni. You'll get about 4, about 70% of the time upon completing you'll get 1 of 4, about 7 crocolisks in the city quest, which is randomly provided by Old Man Barlow, just southeast of Shatrith. Yeah, that's a fishing daily, I think. Obsidian hatchling. That's like a raptor. If you don't want to go through the hassle of finding this rarity in the wild, just drop by my shop in Dalaran. And while you're at it, be sure to pick up a few fetch balls and some happy pet snacks. Okay, I'm plugging my goods, but a gnome's got to eat. And Stinker. Any serious collector ought to have Stinker. Heck, I'll even send him your way if you collect 50 unique companions. Don't worry, I always put breathing holes in the box, at least I do now. Poor little fawn. This is cool. It's a little community story. I like that idea. So here are 6 people that are pet collectors that I guess have a lot. It says, why do you collect pets and where do they come from? So 35% of pets come from vendors, pay in gold, champion seals, and other forms of currency. And even then, these merchants reserve the right to refuse service if you look at them wrong. 29% are drops from monsters, kill bosses, rares, and special seasonal bosses, and they might drop these pets. 16% are promotional, for those fortunate to be at the right place in the right time, like BlizzCon. 12% are quest rewards, do good unto others, and they'll give you another hungry mouth to feed. 5% come from achievements, accomplish great things to earn these companions, mostly getting more pets. Player crafted pets, that's engineering. Expect every pet collector needs to take up engineering at some point. Yeah, so you can get that. All right, so here there's Arcana from Earthen Ring server in the US. They have 124 pets. I collect mainly because I'm a sucker for animals in real life. I have 2 dogs and a cat, plus the occasional foster cat or dog. The most sentimental is the tiny crimson whelpling, because it was the pet that really got me into collecting. I saw someone in the wetlands with a little red dragon fluttering behind them. I thought it was so adorable and whimsical and couldn't wait to get one of my own. Dubjanka is a skillless server, US 126 pets. That looks like they're the highest on this page. I started collecting pets when I found a disgusting oozling on my realm's auction house for 2 gold, so I bought it to make a friend jealous. But I didn't really get into pet collecting until I had the tab to store them. Right. Most sentimental, the panda cub was my very first pet I received, and he was my constant companion with every tune I leveled. You always remember your first is the best. Yeah, they're a lot better now because you don't have to carry the carrying cases around. Vivica is a Dark Iron server, 88 pets. Companion pets in the game amuse me, and collecting them, I don't know. It's like I'm finding them in the world. I feel like they need my help. My Phoenix hatchling has special meaning to me because I think it was the Realm first, or Horde first, to get it. I was in there the moment Magister's Terrace opened, and it was the first drop from the boss, and I won it. That's cool. All right, Master Burning Blade, 122 pets. They exist only for fun, and they last through all the expansions and gear updates. Once the Burning Crusade came out, everyone replaced all their gear, but I still have my pets. So the real fun is in the collecting, not the collection. That's true. My favorite is the Ethereal Soul Trader. I didn't know that was a pet. He's huge. He talks and he sells toys and potions. He's also useful when I PvP. Alliance players will click on him and try to buy from him. I wonder if that's even still in existence. I've never seen it. Satina with 3 E's, Blackhand, 125. I have 5 cats and dozens of chickens in real life, so I couldn't resist. The Deviant Hatchling, because my 10-year-old daughter surprised me with it. While I was busy looking for rare spawn, she was quietly spending her time in whaling caverns. At 10? What a cool kid. One morning I found a Deviant Hatchling in the mail. What a thoughtful kid, especially considering that Raptor Hatchlings were selling for 2,000 to 3,000 gold at the time. That is cool. You 100% would equip that and use it at all times. Squishiest. When I first started playing, someone ran past me with the panda cub. This is from Thunderhorn with 124 pets. And I started hunting down all the companions. I love how they faithfully follow Squishiest around. She's never lonely. When Squishiest was a level 10 noob, she ran around Darnassus for about 2 hours looking for a panda cub vendor. When my boyfriend found out and after he stopped laughing, he bought me the snowshoe rabbit so that my efforts weren't wasted. Haha. Okay. Admit it, they're cute, so we're going to keep talking about pets. Fun and unusual pets to jumpstart your collection. Mojo, the frog, 2 or 3 friends at level 70, plus a lot of luck. To get him, you have to collect Amani hex sticks from trash mobs in Zulaman. Use them to remove hexes on Zulaman forest frogs, and if you're lucky, you'll get Mojo. If not, you'll get gold, Amani charms, which give temporary buffs, or vendors that sell rare goods. Warning, if you log out or leave Zulaman, your hex sticks will disappear. If anyone throws a kiss to Mojo, he'll whisper something seductive back. That player will then turn into a random frog for 15 seconds and be stalked by Mojo. That's freaking funny. I'll have to go for some of these one day. That's what I'm saying. There's so much to do in WoW. Disgusting oozling. At some point, like, I've been taking a break and playing Classic and stuff, but when I cool off on playing Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and Diablo 4, then I'll get back in. There's just plenty to do. Disgusting oozling. Requirements level 50 and a lot of luck, or just check the auction house. You have to kill a lot of slime and ooze type mobs in a zone like Fellwood, Ungoro Crater, Western Eastern Plaguelands. The slimes and oozes have a small chance to drop an oozing bag, and the oozing bag, I've found a lot of oozing bags, has a chance to drop the disgusting oozling. If you take out this pet, you'll be affected by its disgusting aura. I might have this, which minuses 20 to your defense and all your resistances. It'll also make you glow green. Toss the oozling a dark iron ale mug, and he'll drink it up. Huh, that's neat. I wonder, like, how you just find these things. Pengu, I'm pretty sure I have a Pengu. Requires high enough level and dedication. You'll need to achieve Exalted Reputation with the Kaluak faction, which can be done by repeating the faction's daily quests in Dragonblight, Howling Fjord, and Borean Tundra. Either Tanika in Howling Fjord or Cyruk in Dragonblight will sell him to you for just 12 gold. It's not really the money that will stand in the way. It could take a few weeks to achieve the necessary reputation, but look into his big adorable eyes. Isn't the little guy worth it? Plus, for fun, throw him a sexy and see what happens. All right, the Westfall chicken. I'm pretty sure I have that. Just easy to get at any level. Find any chicken in Azeroth and chicken at it multiple times until you get the secret Cluck quest. What? I don't know if I have that. I'm going to have to try that out. Then head to either Westfall or Brill, depending on your faction, and buy special chicken feed from Farmer Saldean in Westfall or William Saldean in Brill. Go back to the chicken or any similar chicken and give it the feed. It'll drop an egg. Loot it to get your very own Westfall chicken. Once the exclusive pet of Alliance players, the quest was made available to Horde players with Secrets of Ulduar, which is patch 3.1. I will have to try that. All right, Kirin Tor Familiar. Pretty sure I have that. Access to Dalaran and a lot of patience. Obtaining this pet is like taking part in an elusive treasure hunt. In Dalaran, yes, I do have this. I've done this with my main in retail. In Dalaran, there are 8 books you need to read to earn the higher learning achievement, but these books spawn randomly and are only present for a short while. It can take weeks to find them all. Yes, it took me camping for like a week. In the meantime, seek out other book collectors on your realm in chat. Many players create a dedicated chat channel just for Tome Raiders. Once you earn the achievement, you'll be mailed a book that teleports you to a room with a mage who gives you the pet. Yes, I did do that with old Twinkle. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the Siege of Icecrown Citadel. I don't even know when we started this episode. But maybe we'll read at least one more article. So this is going to talk about, I guess, the raid, the big one in the book at this time. The epic conflict between Sylvanas and Arthas will soon reach its conclusion. Know the history and prepare for an uncertain future. In the shadow of the spiked towers of Icecrown Citadel, the final confrontation between Arthas Menethil and Sylvanas Windrunner, an encounter sure to be steeped in hatred, vengeance, and blood, is about to unfold, and the results of their clash will determine the future of Azeroth. This is the dragon you fight there. It's pretty cool. The Lich dragon shooting at us. That's cool art. Sylvanas versus Arthas, a woman scorned. The relationship between Arthas and Sylvanas is not difficult to understand. It's based on power, revenge, and abject hatred. During the Third War, Arthas Menethil and his Scourge army invaded Quel'Thalas and laid siege to the High Elves' crumbling defenses. Sylvanas Windrunner, the Ranger General of Silvermoon, put up a valiant fight. She challenged Arthas' forces and harassed them as the undead marched toward the Sunwell. Arthas' irritation grew with each delay that the Ranger General caused. He finally faced Sylvanas and mercilessly struck her down. In a cruel gesture of his dominance, he raised Sylvanas as a banshee cursed to endless undeath in the service of the Lich King. As a banshee, Sylvanas was at the forefront of the attack on Silvermoon. She could do nothing to stop Arthas as he murdered the High Elven King and despoiled the Sunwell. Even worse, she was forced to aid the Scourge in defiling her homeland. Following the Scourge assault on Silvermoon, the Lich Kel'Thuzad and the Scourge used the Scourge's power to summon the demon Archimonde to Azeroth. After Archimonde was summoned, the demons of the Burning Legion, an evil army determined to destroy all order in the universe, ignored Arthas and the Lich King and took control of most of the Scourge forces instead. After the Third War, however, the Lich King regained control of the Scourge using his champion, Arthas. To punish the Burning Legion's wayward servant, the demon killed Jaden, ordered Illidan Stormrage to destroy the Lich King. Illidan used the Eye of Sargeras to attack the Frozen Throne, the icy crystal cask where the Lich King's spirit resided. Although Illidan's attack ultimately failed, the damage from his spell expanded a crack in the Frozen Throne, and as a result, the Lich King's power started to drain. The development allowed Sylvanas to break free of the Lich King's control. It says, as a banshee, Sylvanas was forced to aid the Scourge in defiling her homeland, and there's a picture of Sylvanas. The Dreadlords Balnazar, Deathrock, and Varamathras then sought out Sylvanas as an ally against Arthas, so that the Burning Legion could retake control of the Scourge and the Plaguelands. Sylvanas agreed to aid the demons, but only on her own terms. She was not willing to trade one master for another. And here's a cool picture of Arthas as the Lich King sitting in the Frozen Throne. This is all recaps of stuff we've read. But at the time, I didn't know all this because I never went into the game having played Warcraft 3. I only played that on this channel at some point, and it's probably a few hundred episodes ago. But before that, I was doing it with you guys. I'd never played the game. So I only kind of tangentially knew this storyline. The Dreadlords exploited the Lich King's weakened state and assumed control of many of the Scourge forces in Lordaeron. These undead were dispatched to attack Arthas, but he escaped with the aid of Banshees who were not in the Dreadlord's service. However, the Banshees were loyal to Sylvanas, and so they led Arthas into an ambush. Sylvanas used an arrow coated with a special poison to paralyze Arthas. He demanded a quick death, but Sylvanas reminded him that she had asked for the same mercy and was raised as an undead slave instead. Arthas was saved by the timely arrival of Kel'Thuzad and the undead forces that were still loyal to the Lich King. Even weakened as he was, Arthas managed to reach the center of the Lich King's power, Icecrown Glacier, where the Frozen Throne sits, but Illidan and the Blood Elves and Naga who served him were already there on a mission to destroy the Frozen Throne and the Lich King. Arthas' armies thwarted Illidan's servants, and Arthas defeated Illidan himself. Arthas then finished his journey to the Frozen Throne. Using his rune blade Frostmourne, Arthas shattered the Lich King's icy prison and released Ner'zhul's enchanted helm and breastplate. Ner'zhul was the Orcish shaman whose spirit was first transformed into the Lich King. Arthas placed the extraordinarily powerful helm on his head and became the new Lich King. Ner'zhul and Arthas' spirits were fused into a single mighty being, just as Ner'zhul had always planned. In the Plaguelands, Varimathras offered Sylvanas the chance to serve the Dreadlords as a reward for her help against Arthas. When Sylvanas refused, Varimathras attacked her and her rebel undead forces, but they eventually subdued him. In exchange for his life, Varimathras betrayed his fellow Dreadlords and aided Sylvanas in taking Capital City in Lordaeron. Vowing to defeat the Scourge and the Lich King, the recently freed undead, now known as the Forsaken, constructed their own bastion beneath the Wicked City. Sylvanas continued to recruit undead into the Forsaken, freeing the Lich King's victims who had enough willpower and had not yet succumbed to the Lich King's control. She used her forces to strike at the Scourge wherever she could, and the Forsaken eventually joined the Horde to fight their mutual enemies. Sylvanas' forces were at the forefront of the Horde's assault on Northrend. Oh, did I double pin that down? Must have did that set twice. It's good to know. What's not good to know is I got to check and see. I think hopefully that's just a duplicate because I was, going through the motions or whatever, and maybe I wasn't sure if I'd scan that in, and hopefully we're not missing a page. I don't think so. We could kind of do some math if I can go back to where I can see a page number because those are cut off. Let's see what we got here. 37, so that would be 38. That would be 39. Okay, so we didn't skip one. I just duplicated. Cool. So I can go back in there on my own when I'm on edit mode, and I could delete that if I want, but it's not a big deal. All right, this is a picture of Icecrown Citadel. That's another picture of the dragon. This is just really the best expansion. I gotta say, Wrath of the Lich King is just amazing. It's definitely peak World of Warcraft. It's just got that perfect balance of them having iterated and innovated and creating this massive world. The storyline's great. The end game is great. They hadn't gotten into doing massive amounts of dailies yet. There were some dailies, but they were targeted and rep related. Like, I'll do rep related dailies, sure, but don't make me do it to increase the power of my character. Just don't. So, like right now, for instance, you've got to. Yeah, I don't know. My character's falling behind. I do like a lot of what they're doing in Dragonflight, but take us back. Just I don't know. Black Ice. Many players are anxious to dive into Icecrown Citadel just to see what's inside the place. Players have known about Arthas' icy throne for years, but only now has it been opened for them to explore. While the world got a glimpse of the Lich King's chilly seat of power at the end of Warcraft 3, The Frozen Throne, the development team has always wanted to go further. In previous games, we never fully realized the concept, Alex Afrasiabi says. There was the spire and the throne, but that was it. What we're doing in World of Warcraft is much more complex. Icecrown is really radiated out from the spire where Arthas merged with Ner'zhul. The buildings and fortifications have really emerged around the spire and throne. It's really the centerpiece for the Scourge. It took the team between 6 and 8 months to conceptualize, flesh out, and design the entirety of Icecrown Citadel. On top of it all, the raid has a more menacing air than much of the content in World of Warcraft. Even with the bright colors highlighting some of the locations, the general aura of Icecrown is very dark. We don't shy away from grittiness. It's a very gritty place, says J. Allen Brack. It's very foreboding and ominous. The first time you enter the Citadel, it does take your breath away. It's very gnarly. Yeah, and that's part of what makes it cool is that it's just a part of the zone. Northrend is so beautiful and has such great zones, and at the end you have this just crazy dark zone. The beginning of the end. While the Argent Crusade and the Knights of the Ebon Blade have temporarily joined forces to burst through Icecrown Citadel's front door in the form of a raid instance, the Alliance and the Horde, with their respective leaders, are sneaking through the side passages. Jaina Proudmoore and Sylvanas lead their dungeon runs to find crucial information. How do the heroes defeat the Lich King? This fact-finding mission will take players through the Forge of Souls, the Pit of Saran, and ultimately the Halls of Reflection. It's far and away our most epic encounter ever. Jalen Brack. Spoiler alert, in these halls, Sylvanas has a big revelation. She finds what she needs by communing with Frostmourne. Watching this event through his connection with the Runeblade, the Lich King arrives on the scene, freezes everyone in the room, and then departs, leaving his lieutenants to attack the players. Sylvanas sees this as her chance to strike. Fight and flight. The Banshee Queen will not be denied her vengeance. The players see her chase after the Lich King as she heads for his private quarters. This confrontation is depicted on this issue's cover, but will players actually be a part of the fight, or does the Banshee Queen get to have all the fun? It's really just a setup, lead world designer Alex Afrasiabi explains. When players get to the throne room, they see the battle happening and Sylvanas is clearly losing. Arthas has obviously grown in power since they last encountered one another, and Sylvanas has to temporarily restrain the Lich King so everyone can make their escape. In other words, this dungeon will end with a kind of encounter that the development team has never attempted before, an escape. That's true, it's pretty cool. You have the information you came for. Sylvanas tried to get her revenge and failed, and now you have to get out of the Citadel alive, says Alex. With an angry demigod chasing you from behind, the Horde and Alliance heroes will be running down a long and seemingly endless hallway. As you flee, the Lich King raises up walls of ice and legions of scourge to block your path. Throughout this epic melee, Sylvanas is breaking through the walls of ice, and it's the player's job to protect her. If you don't keep Sylvanas or Jaina safe, the Lich King kills everyone and collects more souls for his cause. Okay, so let's look at the King's Armory. All the awesome loot you can get. The weapons and equipment that the Lich King carries with him are enough to make any would-be adventurer yearn for his epic gear. The dungeon's encounters items go up to level 232, and the raid encounter items go up to level 277. However, the weapons on Arthas' loot table go up to 284. They are always half a tier higher than the rest of what players will find in Icecrown Citadel. That's fairly common for us to do, says J. Allen Brack. We did the same thing with Kil'jaeden at the end of Burning Legion and Ragnaros back in the Molten Core days. We found this works best for the last raid instance of a given expansion, but we don't do this for every final boss and every update. Part of it is the idea that our raiders shouldn't be finding gear in the new expansion that automatically outdates what they earned for the end boss of the previous expansion, explains Tom Chilton. But most of it is making sure that the Lich King feels really rewarding to defeat. This is the most epic encounter we've ever made, so we want to make sure the loot feels that way too. Expect the items falling from the Lich King and his forces to look as epic as their stats. We have a strong artistic theme for all things Scourge, Tom continues. While they don't all look like Frostmourne, they do have that Lich King vibe about them. The armor especially feels very gritty, and the pieces definitely look Lich King appropriate. Speaking of Frostmourne, well, if the Lich King won't exactly be needing it anymore after our showdown, could players, have it? The development team doesn't say much, and Tom gives only the most cryptic of clues. It's not going to the Realm First Guild or anything like that, he says with a chuckle. Interesting. Steady as she goes. While Sylvanas may have faced off against her opponent and failed, players get another crack at the Lich King and ensure the final confrontation lives up to everyone's, expectations. The developers are packing heat, ice. Every piece of Icecrown Citadel has been stuffed with challenging encounters from Lady Deathwhisper to Professor Putricide. The 12 raid bosses will not hand over their treasures without a fight, and although players are champing at the bit to carve their way through Arthas' fortress, the developers have put in their own devices to keep players on a healthy pace. We are unlocking Icecrown Citadel in stages, which is now, that's just common practice for them, says game director Tom Chilton. The entire raid won't be all available right off the bat. When we start, you'll have access to the first 4 bosses, then unlocking the rest will occur in real time over the course of several weeks. The timed unlock will be familiar to anyone playing through Trial of the Crusader. The developers explain that this pacing is designed to fit the storyline of the Horde and the Alliance, progressively breaking their way through the Citadel and helping to build the tension for that final moment with the Lich King. And then there's a simple reality that players tend to take on everything we give them as soon as we give it to them, says Tom. We found that if we give them access to 12 bosses, they will run those bosses day and night until they beat them all to the player's own detriment. This dungeon will end with an encounter that the dev team has never attempted, an escape. Among the many horrors you'll face, the Soul Grinders in the Forge of Souls. I don't know who those are. It doesn't show the picture. Maybe these guys. Maybe they're kind of Death Knights. Who's your daddy? While Icecrown encounters like Sindragosa may be among the most excruciating encounters players will ever face, nothing will prepare them for what they'll face when attacked by the combined spirits of Arthas Menethil and the Lich King, Ner'zhul. It's far and away our most epic encounter ever, promises production director J. Allen Brack, with the most epic ending ever. Though the details surrounding the actual fight between the players and the Lich King are being kept shrouded in mystery, the developers did slip one particular detail into the melting pot. You'll be seeing the return of King Taranis, teases Jay, only to be quickly shushed by his colleagues. Although King Taranis Menethil II has been featured prominently throughout Azeroth, he has a tombstone in Old Lordaeron, and it's his voice that players hear in the Wrath of the Lich King cinematic. Taranis' remains were thought to have been interred behind the old throne room of Lordaeron. Does this mean his remains were never actually found after Arthas desecrated them? Or might players see a spirit version of the king arise to torment his son? The theories could be listed off for hours, but whatever the outcome, the team doesn't think you'll be left wanting, and at least one member is willing to bet on it. If players are disappointed, promises Alex, I will eat Jay's Onyxia Drake mount. Okay. So I think that's a good spot for us to stop. We'll on booty calls here. So we'll do our booty calls next time. Yeah, interesting take as we plow through. We're about a third of the way through this issue. And like I said before, I think as you get past the features, you'll get some faster reading. But I'm actually not even in a rush. I really am enjoying this magazine and my read through of it with you guys. We have another episode in the pipe 5x5, and you have my thanks and appreciation. You guys rock. I do this as a hobby, and I would do it with no subscribers. But the fact that there's people out there, you listeners, you viewers out there that watch and enjoy it, really just warms my heart and brightens my day. And every time I see the comments or a new subscriber, it's just a little extra joy that you guys give me, and I hope I give you a little bit of entertainment too. Thanks. See you guys next time on Lore of Warcraft.